Welcome back to our live stream telecast. Thank you for joining us again for the final match of the evening. Welcome back to the Smithfield PWBA Tour Championship. We are grateful that Smithfield decided to become one of our great sponsors here for the new PWBA Tour. Again, when you're watching live streaming, check out lanes 3 and 4. It has the rest of all of our sponsors that have supported the women throughout this new venture, and also make sure to thank USBC and BPAA for making this a reality. As we start, we'll have Shannon O'Keefe versus Danielle McEwan on 7 and 8. The winner of that match will face Liz Johnson on TV, who is already seeded. And on 5 and 6, we have Rocio Restrepo bowling Kelly Kulick, who will face Stephanie Johnson, who is already seated on the TV telecast, which will be Sunday live, 12 p.m. Central Time on CBS Sports Network. So please join us for that live telecast. For this last match, joining me in the booth this evening will be my sidekick, Kathy, Dor, and Lizzie, who I am going on record now again to tell everyone, no, we are not twins. She is 4 inches shorter than I am in flats.
Easy.
Kathy, thanks for joining me this evening. What do you think of the matches so far today?
Well, it's interesting, too, that I just noticed that Shannon O'Keefe won her match on 7 and 8, and she is bowling on 7 and 8 again. And Kelly won her match on 5 and 6, and she is also on her repeating pair. So that could play into that.
They're also, both Kelly and Shannon are the two girls with the most experience. Kelly, numerous titles and accolades. As we know, the two that come to mind, beating me in 2003 for the U.S. Open Championship. And also, you know, the PBA TFC. So that's number one. Shannon winning the Lucy Bonneau doubles with Bill O'Neill recently this past August. So they definitely have the most experience.
I believe that's Shannon's second title
Yes.
down there. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Danielle and Rocio were two very consistent bowlers on this new PWBA swing.
Yeah, it's funny you said that, because when I called Jeff and I said, I'm doing the live streaming, and he said, who's in the final match? And I told him, he said, the same girls are still bowling well. And I said, yes, they are.
Yes. And what we're seeing in this opening match, we're only 2 frames in, but you're watching that Kelly Kulick and Rocio are playing a little bit further left than that 5, 6, 7 area where everybody tried to stay. Yet on 7 and 8, the girls have still been able to start way further right and try to keep right. And you have 2 girls here too, in Shannon and Danielle, that can really amp up their ball speed to be able to stay in that zone.
And it looks like Shannon's even throwing a little surface, but she can, because she throws it hard enough to still clear the front. I meant to ask her when I saw her earlier, what's going through her mind mentally, that ride home after losing by 1 pin last Sunday, to come in tonight, and she just looks like she
has regrouped, refocused,
she just
everything.
shook it off, and she's here, new day at the office, and I give her a lot of credit for that, because that was a heartbreaker.
Rocio missing a little left. She double dribbled that one a little bit. And usually when she does that, she just gets around it a little bit too early. Ball goes high, leaves the 3-6.
She's got such a high backswing for such a little girl,
Danielle using the same ball she did earlier, using a menace. Strong drill, not as much surface as Shannon, but still able to be in that right part of the lane. She mishit that one at the bottom just a little bit. The dreaded 2-4-5-7.
Mm-hmm. It's always a tough spare to shoot at too, because if you don't hit it at the right angle, you either leave the 5-pin or the 7-pin.
Mm-hmm. And the last few, well, I shouldn't even say the last few weeks. Well, more so maybe the last few weeks. But throughout the whole swing, spare shooting was so crucial to how you made the cut or not. I mean, there were so many people that said, I missed the cut by 10 pins. How many spares did you miss? Well, I missed 8 spares. You make 2 more. You know, that's unacceptable anyway. But, and then there were weeks you only missed 2 and you were in the cut by 70. It was absolutely amazing. It wasn't as if you had to shoot 270 to make the cut. Good comeback shot there by Danielle McEwan. Kelly missing the bucket.
Which is rare for her. She's a pretty good spare shooter.
She's a great spare shooter.
Well, she doesn't leave many.
No. Kelly changing balls.
Now, do you think she compensated on the left lane?
Well, she made a ball change. She made a ball change. So I think she went with her gut instinct as to where she needed to move. Just probably wasn't enough, because as we saw in the match before when she was bowling Erin McCarthy, they were gradually moving after that first and second game, but by the third and fourth game, they had moved zones.
Okay.
You know, with balls and the zone. So maybe I just don't think she made a big enough move, because knowing Kelly, she trusts her instincts, and she usually makes a great shot when she does. As we saw in the 10th frame of that U.S. Open show last week, she changed balls in the 10th frame, high flush, you know, light 2-4-5. So she definitely trusts her gut.
I mean, Shannon is really way out there. But she has a great look.
Great look, keeping the ball right in front of her. There's no belly in the heads at all, just right in front of her, straight up the lane with a lot of ball speed.
That's all me, except for the ball speed. I mean, she really amps it up there.
I think one of the keys to success on this first swing was as the lanes were stripped and re-oiled and you got to match play, the girls that really could amp up their ball speed and keep the ball in front of them and continue to stay in that area of the lane really were the ones that wound up moving up the ladder. Even if they hooked the ball, they were still throwing it with a lot of ball speed. Kelly with an open in the third and fourth. Rocio clean through 4.
And so because there's only 2 bowlers at a time bowling on the pair, and they do recondition the lanes after each match, are they seeing a lot of transition, you think?
When I'm talking with Liz, because she was obviously just part of the practice session, but she said even in that practice session when she went pair to pair, she saw a little bit of the transition. Of course, as we know, lanes change every time you throw a bowling ball. But here at the ITRC, because of topography like anywhere else, each lane plays different. And this bowling center tends to get tighter down the lane the more you bowl on it. And we saw more of that on lane 6. Even in talking with when Liz Culkin was bowling with Ryan, lane 6 was tighter down lane than lane 5. You saw that with Erin McCarthy.
Yeah.
They started to wash out more on the right lane than the left lane. Same thing on 7 and 8. It was the left lane that started to hook a little bit more, where the right lane they had a little more mistake area, both up in front of them and to the left.
Did you see a lot of that on the swing? Week
Yes.
to week, did you see where a pair was actually different?
Honestly, I truly believe every pair was different, and lane to lane was different.
Yeah.
Very, very few and far between did you say, oh, every right lane hooked. It wasn't. It might have been, lane 2 hooked, lane 4 hooked, and then all of a sudden 6 and 8 were tight. It was very, 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 very challenging, and like I said, I really appreciated it because I think it brought spare shooting into it, which is what I like. I think it's nice not to have an 8-bagger and have to shoot 250 to move up the ladder.
Right.
So Kelly rebounds after the 2 opens. The great shot in the 5th. Makes the adjustment on that left lane. Shannon up by 25, going into the 7th. That's right, Lucas? 25. I got my mathematicians to the left and right of me to double check me tonight. I don't think Rocio thought that was coming back. Stayed with it. Ball came in late, and that's what you're looking for. On those light hits right there, you wouldn't even move. You just get up and make another shot.
Yes, I believe it was 25. Rocio's another one of the up-and-coming stars, one of the young ladies, international bowler. She's bowled all over. She understands the importance of everything. I mean, she's just an all-around up-and-coming good player, but she takes care of herself. She's another one that's into her physical fitness. She watches what she eats. She makes sure she takes care of her physical game, and so it's nice to see her bowl well and go out on a good note.
Definitely one of the things we see with the new PWBA tour, because these girls are fresh out of college and because college bowling became so big over the last 15 years, is that they're all around athletes.
Yes.
They're in good physical shape. There's a lot more focus put on the mental game as well as the physical game, and they've had the access to more conditions to be much more prepared, when they were ready to tackle the PWBA. See if Kelly can add a triple. Definitely didn't like that one off her hand. You could see it. Missed a little bit left, a little too direct. She still needs that little bit of right. She needs that little bit of bump in the front. Actually, more a little down lane. Got that one a little left. Obviously, there's no hold yet.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt you. She didn't, by any means, bowl poorly her last match. Obviously, she lost the first game, came back and won the next 3. But Kelly tends to allow the lanes. She waits for the shot to come to her. That's why she always excels in those later rounds, because eventually the shot is going to wind up being exactly what fits her, and then she goes right to her A game.
Right.
And she's deadly. She's deadly, just like Liz. When Liz can play her little shim there and go to the pocket the way she's the most comfortable, she's deadly. And I think it's a little more challenging because there isn't as much play. So Kelly's got to try to find it before waiting for it to come to her because of lack of play.
Kelly, out of all 4 bowlers, too, is the one with the slowest ball speed.
Yes.
And she actually has worked on getting her ball speed up a little bit.
She actually looks like she is throwing it a little harder. She 2 4-10s.
Well, she mishit that one
but
just a little
but
bit.
She
didn't
does.
like
She
it.
really looks. She's not as soft.
Shannon thought she got that one a little left, and it just,
I thought so too.
when it rolled up, it just laid right there. That's exactly what you're looking for, because that's not what you saw on this pair earlier. So right there, that tells you you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, if you can find a little miss on either side, left or right, take advantage of it.
Got a great text message from Chuck Gardner. Shannon, who's part of the Brunswick staff, says he's talked to her quite a bit after the U.S. Open, after the shot. And she says, I'm only thinking about winning this event. As far as she's concerned, last week was last week. I'm all about this week, and that's just what you said.
Yeah.
Which is really what you have to do, because you can't take it back.
Right, and you
take
can't do
back.
it over, and you don't want to relive it. You want to learn from it. And like you said, Kelly's got the most experience, but Shannon really has a lot of, she really does have a lot of experience. And last week, although did not end in her favor, I think she's going to be a better, much better player because of it. And I wouldn't be surprised if she ended up winning a U.S. Open here, not too far away.
Some of the greatest bowlers in the world finished second more times than they did first. I know Earl Anthony. I believe Earl Anthony, and it is one of them that comes to mind. Marshall Holman was another one who I remember having a conversation. He goes, I finished second like 30-something times. He goes, I went back to look at my, and as he can only say it, because I love Marsh. He goes, umpteen titles or 26 titles or whatever he has, and he looks at me and goes, look at this, 38 seconds. That's ridiculous. He goes, how many did I throw away?
And he's another statistic where he was so great at what he did on the lanes. You loved to hate him, right? But he would have rather played golf.
Oh, I know. He's one of the greatest. God bless him. Well, we'll have Shannon O'Keefe will take the first match against Danielle McEwan. I don't count Danielle out at any time. Shannon will try another ball just to see if it gives her a different look for later in the match.
Smart move. If you have the free frame, use it.
Going at a 250 pace. Kelly can only strike in the 9th and 10th for 187. .221 for Rocio. I believe that's the ball that Shannon might have taken out when she shot that big 279 game to take the lead, the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I know I spoke of it when I interviewed her last Sunday on the show, but over 300 pins. She was out of second place. I mean, did we not say when we spoke last week, oh, Liz is going to run away with another one, da-da-da-da-da. And for Shannon to come in, or anybody, and pick up that many pins at a U.S. Open on those type of conditions, that's something.
So Shannon will finish with 259. Great start to Danielle McEwan's 180. Kelly made a ball change, moved a little bit further right to go a little bit straighter, a little more in the track area. Danielle, even though she opened to the 10th, started with a great shot. This second game. Kelly got that one a little bit further right down the lane. It actually came up light.
don't see Shannon's shot changing much.
No, and you know, like we spoke last week, it's not so much they want to move out of the zone. She just continues to throw it harder and harder.
Right.
You know, whether they have to ball up or ball down, depending on what they want to see on the lane. Kelly changed to a different ball on that shot just to see what it would do. Kelly Kulick finishes with a 183. Rocio just needs to stay behind the foul line. She'll probably get this first hit, and then I would think she may try a different ball or try somewhere different on the lane just to see what she has.
You know, if you can ever videotape her and slow-mo her release, she really is a good model for someone who keeps their hand behind it the whole time until she releases the ball. I mean, if you really watch her, she really does that exceptionally well. These four ladies are working hard, and then of course the ball rep's working hard over there.
Great shot by Rocio. She strikes on the fill shot, it'd be 221.
Danielle McEwan starts out with a double. And you're right, she can amp her speed up just as much as Shannon. You're right, Rocio pulled out a shinier ball just to be safe. Smart move. She had the free frame.
She'll finish with the 220 to Kelly Kulick's 183. It'll be Rocio Restrepo up 1-0. Danielle coming out strong this second game, starting with the front three. O'Keefe leads 1-0.
You notice too, when the ladies are bowling well, how routine they stay. They wipe the ball off the same amount of times, they do their rosin bag, and they stay very routine, same time frame in between shots.
Okay, I just noticed Shannon O'Keefe is using the same ball, but two different ones. She's using one on lane 7, one on lane 8. Same type of ball. I'm trying to see if they're drilled a little bit differently. They both have surface. I will try to find out that information here in the next few frames. I think it looks like the ball she's using on the left lane is a pin up ball, and I will check that out. Right lane 8 has seemed a little bit tighter, so it could be a pin down.
Well, Danielle figured something out because she has the front four.
And
all great shots.
And Danielle's another one who likes to keep the ball right in front of her,
Mhm.
doesn't like to open up her angles too much, and you know what? She's really smooth off her hand, gets
Yeah.
that rotation. She has that axis rotation that's not really that thumb down. It's more behind it and around it, which gives the ball that read in the front and the middle part of the lane. And that's what you're looking for on this, that smooth motion, not something that does something so, makes that left turn
Right.
down lane. Another great shot by Danielle. Gives her the front 5. Shannon O'Keefe with the Dutch 200 going into the 5th frame. Kelly got that one way right. She's been playing 9, 10, 11 down lane, and that one got all the way out to 6. As you can see, it did not recover, leaving the 1, 2, 4. Kelly making the spare. And I'll tell you, on these conditions, that 1, 2, 4, Liz and I were talking about earlier, and I joked with you last week. My sparing was really good, but I was joking with you, telling you that I shot the 1, 2, 4 with my spare ball the last 2 weeks. Do you remember when I used to make fun of you when you shot the 1, 2, 4 with your spare ball? I'd be like, how do you do that? But with the lane conditions the way they
Well,
are.
let me leave the 1, 2, 4 6 times a game, and I'll show you. Every once in a while, depending on where I'm playing on the lanes,
Right.
you can throw your strike ball, but most of the time, no, spare ball. And so when you used your spare ball, did you make it?
Yes. Last 2 shots by Shannon, way left off her hand. You could tell she didn't really like him when she let it go, but leaves the 6, 10. She'll change to her spare ball, shoot cross lane. Rocio didn't get out of that one as clean. Every now and then she says she gets on the side of it just a little too quick and doesn't really clear the thumb as fast as she likes.
And you could tell.
And, yeah,
just right in the
and
front.
you could tell as soon as she lets it go too. She kind of had her little body language to let you know.
Her ball rolls the minute it comes out of her hand, but it rolls smooth.
Again, you're watching the Smithfield PWBA Tour Championship here at the International Training and Research Center here in Arlington, Texas, located at the International Bowling Campus. This is the home of Team USA, both youth and adult. This is where the greats come to train. Lucas says he bowls here too, but he doesn't fall into that category. Remember to watch us live Sunday, 12 Central Time, CBS Network. It's going to be an exciting finish. Danielle's streak ends at 6, comes in light, leaves a 2-8. Kelly moving a little bit further right on that right lane. It's a little bit different than her last match on this pair because she moved left into it to get it right with the ball that was a little cleaner. It was a pearl ball, but had a little surface on it. So it still made that move down lane. Now she's gone to a ball that's cleaner and smoother, but has moved right of where that pattern is playing.
And that shot there on lane 6 almost looked like she could miss a little left.
Right, and the thing is, that's the same place Rocio's playing, where when she chased it left early, it was Erin McCarthy moved left too. Two great shots by Kelly Kulick back to back. Shannon O'Keefe changing balls on the right lane to one of the balls she tried on her fill shot. Much cleaner down the lane.
Goes longer.
She is using a pin-up mastermind on this left lane, which is still a strong ball. Good shot by Rocio. Gets a bad break, leaves the 7-10. That's really not a bad shot. I mean, just didn't quite finish, but she's still keeping the ball in play. The 1-3, when they get a little touchy, that's all you're trying to do. Just a bad break and didn't kick one of them out.
Shannon missed way left again on lane 7, but catches the double.
You can follow us on Twitter. I have a Twitter handle, CDB300. If you have any questions about the PWBA Tour or what you're watching here on live streaming, we can try to answer those questions. You can also follow us at PWBA Tour.
Great shot by Rocio on lane 5.
Great comeback after that 7-10. You know, we've talked about that. And I've asked everybody who sat here today. So, Kathy, when you were on TV, or even, let's even go back, when you were fighting for a show and you threw a bad shot and or had a bad break, what did you do to refocus to get up on and make that next shot?
I mean, most of the time for me, it almost took an error to calm me down, but to make me angry. But angry in a good way, where I'm not going to let that get me. I'm not going to let that get me. And then the nerves and everything kind of go right out the window, because now you're just...
It's actually, it makes you more aggressive, believe it or not.
And
I know,
mentally and physically, and it makes you feel like I am not out of this. And for some way your body just goes into that mode where...
Right. Danielle opens, leaves the 8-pin standing, open in the 9th, 216. She can strike out on the 10th for 246. Shannon O'Keefe can strike in the 9th and 10th for 237.
Oh my God.
Which is crucial.
Another
to what
one-pinner.
what Danielle would have to do in the 10th. And by the way, Kelly Kulick shot the 1-2-4 with her spare ball.
See? Oh.
She moved her body a little left. I think she knew we're at a little bit of a bad angle for this right lane, but it looks like when she moved her body to the left, she knew she missed a little left. Ball went right through the nose. And once again, using a ball that's a little bit cleaner. Where the other ball that she was using seemed like it laid off the spot just enough where, you know, it might have been that flat 10 or blow or 7. Kelly Kulick, great shot on the left lane, setting herself up for the 8th frame, which we were talking Brianna earlier. She said, yeah, you mentioned that on the show about how you prepare for the 8th and 9th frame. I said, yeah, because I want it over by the 10th. See, I think those are 2 important frames. It sets you up for the 10th. Real good shot by Rocio. Rocio not opening up the lane a lot, keeping the ball a little bit more in front of her. Still has that little bit of head belly, but really keeping her angles pretty square for her.
And I think that's the experience of coming out here, bowling on the tour, seeing girls that have more experience than her, because she did. She would open the lane up a lot. And you can't do that all the time. And it's good to know that she does know that, but she can physically prove it to herself that she doesn't have to do that to score.
Shannon O'Keefe will make her spare. I'm sure she may try a ball on her fill shot. Danielle McEwan will grab the 2nd game, making it even all 1-1. Here comes Rocio, the little Spitfire.
3, 6, 9, 10 is the only one I won't shoot with my spare ball.
Yeah, we have a sleeper.
Used to be the 2-8 also, but I throw my spare ball at that. Notice how I'm mentioning all the spares that I throw. But I have to throw my spare ball.
Much better shot on that lane for Kelly. Kept it right in front of her. Did not miss right. Great shot to set herself up for the foundation frame. I like this texting in the Twitter because I like when the ball reps are texting me who aren't here, like Chuck telling me that the balls we're saying are doing the correct thing, which is nice. So, Chuck, I do appreciate your help clarifying what's being used out there.
Thanks, Charles.
And that's Chuck Gardner from Brunswick. I'm sorry, I only called him by his first name. Danielle McEwan going to finish big here. She's got 240, 246 if she strikes out. Let's see what Kelly does in the 9th.
She really looked like she came around that, and I don't know, it just looked funny coming off her hand.
Seems like it was a mishit a little bit. You can see when she shakes her hand a little bit, that's usually what she means. She leaves a 2-4-10. She'll have 189 in the 9th if she gets 2. Let's see what we... Great shot at it. 189 in the 9th. She's got 219. She strikes out in the 10th on her next shot. Rocio Restrepo can strike in the 9th and 10th for 246. So this match totally turned around.
Mm-hmm. Great shots.
Another shot. I don't think she thought, it wasn't perfect off her hand. You could tell by her body language when she lets it go. But because it was clean off her hand.
And she's got good
still
balance.
Exactly. So with her. Shannon changing balls now on both lanes. Rocio needs a mark in the 10th to take this game. Little wide, 1, 2, 4.
She needs to spare this in 7 to shut Kelly out. It's the 1, 2, 4, and she is going to use her
strike ball. So people using their spare
That's
ball.
right. And that's good to see that,
Well,
because then you figure out, you have to find out what works for you.
Exactly. It's up to the bowler to find out what they're comfortable with.
I think the 1, 2, 4 is the hardest spare, because if you miss the pocket on the first shot.
Rocio needs 7. And that's probably the best hit. So Danielle McEwan was using 2 different balls, 2 different menaces. Now she's in the weaker menace on both lanes. So we're seeing a little bit of a transition again on these
Shannon
pairs.
switched for both lanes also.
Shannon switched. She was using 2 different balls in the start of the match. Remember, 2 different balls with 2 different drills. But it was, basically the same ball. Danielle was doing the same thing. Now they've gone to... Danielle's still using a strong ball with the weaker layout. Shannon has gone to a weaker ball with the weaker layout. Still has a little surface on it, though, so it at least reads the lane.
And that's good, because she wants to stay where she's at. She doesn't want to have to move in.
Because this pair has played out for the last few matches. It really has played to the right. The last match got a little quirky there at the the end, but
Kelly
definitely
switching
was playing
balls.
to the right.
Kelly switching balls for her fill shot to try to find something.
Kelly trying a stronger ball on her fill shot. Rocio will take that game, 223 to 206. Rocio leads 2-0 in her match against Kelly Kulick. Shannon O'Keefe and Danielle McEwan are tie at 1-1. You're going to make those errored shots every now and then. I mean, the lanes are a little tough. They're going through transition basically every shot, but you can see it magnified a little more as the games go on. But on your good shots, you're really looking to make sure you stay in the 1-3 and you leave something that you can spare, because you don't want to be leaving something that's tough, obviously, because the middle of the lane still has that hook,
right,
and you're not sure of how to shoot at some of these spares. So you're basically looking for a ball. I know this is, and it probably doesn't sound like it's the perfect scenario, but you are looking for something to keep you in the 1-3.
Yeah, you want to be safe.
And then manage
Yeah.
your hand or your ball speed to actually have to get it through the pins to kick out the corners.
Yeah. I mean, on some conditions, you just want to be safe, stay in the pocket, leave something spareable, like you said. Because once you start trying to manufacture and play defense, it could go really wrong.
Great shot by Danielle. Smooth, her swing, really long as she gets
I
through
love
it.
that.
Just picture perfect. We talked about it earlier too. And you can see this with all 4 of these ladies, basically everybody who bowled, with these 4 that we're looking at now. The fundamentals of the women bowlers are so solid.
Yeah.
And Brianna was saying when she got lost last week at the U.S. Open, she was talking to Rob Gottschall and, hey, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And his suggestion was go back to your fundamentals. Throw a good shot, then we can make the adjustment. Because really, you can't move off bad shots.
Right, you can't ever make a legitimate adjustment until you throw a good shot.
And it seems so simple because we make it so hard on ourselves, but the fundamentals are so sound on these bowlers that even when they are lost, they still repeat and they make the spare till they get calmed down and find out what they need to do. And it's just awesome to see, and that comes from a lot of training, a lot of coaching, and a lot of practice.
A lot of practice. Listen, if you want to be good at anything, you got to work at it, no matter what it is.
Shannon O'Keefe working on a 3-bagger, comes in just a little light, leaves the 2-8. Shannon missing the 2-8. Not an easy spare on this. We've talked about that. We've talked about the middle of the lane. And or when you're trying to go right to left, if you miss just that little bit left.
Yeah, forget it.
Right.
I mean, Danielle's going to make this a match. She's not.
Nope. All these bowlers have it within them to make that show. And I wonder if you remember this, Kathy. Do you remember we bowled with Rocio at the ABC tournament about 5 or 6 years ago? Was it?
Oh, not that long ago.
Was it 4 years?
Maybe 4.
Okay, whatever it was. You're right.
Was it in El Paso?
I thought it was in New Orleans or somewhere. But
It was.
It was.
Was it New Orleans? Yeah.
And this is such a compliment to her. Well, I think it is. She was still a little wild, and she would say that. No, but do you remember with her bowling? Do you remember she said, I just want to be consistent. Do you remember her? Remember we sat up till about 3 o'clock in the morning just talking about her bowling. I want to be consistent. I always want to be in the hunt. Everything I want to do. Well, guess what?
You're here.
She has worked her way into being a contender every week. And
but she wanted to be.
She wanted to be. It was.
You know, those that want to be, hopefully will be.
Exactly.
If they put the time in. You know, it's that old saying, those that want to learn will.
Well, and it's amazing because I'll never forget this too. One of the key things she said was, I had to look at myself and say, I'm not really very good. I'm not where I want to be. Many people don't look at themselves.
Right.
Exactly. Great comeback shot by Shannon O'Keefe. Aggressive. Again, keeping it straight up in front of her. That's her best ball reaction right there. And all of these girls, the other thing is the axis rotation off their hand. Shannon O'Keefe definitely comes around it a lot more than the other three. Danielle is a little more behind it and then on the side of it, but clean through it. Rocio, same thing, way behind it until she gets around it. And Kelly is your typical, just gets around with her roller, rolls it off her hand. So different axis rotations off their hand.
It's interesting to see the diversity in the group, especially when you look at the ladies now, like you said, compared to what we did. Now the younger generation, they work out, they watch what they eat, the equipment's different. You know, there were no resin balls when we first started and all that. So it's nice to see such a diverse group. The result is the same, but how they get there is so different. You can learn by watching each and every one of these ladies.
Which is something that everybody who's watching should really take to heart, is that you don't have to throw it one specific way to be a great bowler. You remember to always make what you do fundamentally sound and then add tricks into your bag.
Correct.
That you feel comfortable doing. But the fundamentals and what you do best is what you should make your mark.
Right.
That should be your A game.
Like we said about Liz Johnson last week. Listen, she's not a fancy looking bowler. You know, everybody wants to see the big hook, the big left turn at the pins. You know, Michelle Feldman, people were just in awe because a lady could throw a ball like that. But Liz gets it done her way, the same way every time.
Right.
And then she put a few tricks in her bag, and that's why she is who she is.
Danielle taking the lead in this match with the light hit on that on lane 7. And off of that hit, we talked about that earlier last week. Even on those late shakers, you wouldn't even move. You'd just stay there and just keep making good shots because the lanes were so touchy. She's working on a 5-bagger. Shannon O'Keefe working on a double.
Rocio looks absolutely fantastic.
She looks extremely comfortable.
Confident. She looks like she's so comfortable. I love to see that too.
Shannon missed a little left on that shot. Ball held. Stone 9. That's a bad break. Another great shot by Kelly.
And this is also another stepping stone for Rocio in her experience because she's bowling for a show and she's bowling against one of the best.
Shannon O'Keefe will be stepping up here on the 9th frame, down 24. She can strike out for 235 in the 9th and 10th. Danielle can strike out in the 9th and 10th for 269. Four great shots right there by Shannon O'Keefe. Unfortunate break there with that in the 8th frame. Rocio Restrepo stepping up, working on a double. Danielle McEwan with the spare. Strikes out in the 10th, can have 246. Another great shot by Rocio. All of the ladies seem much more comfortable on the pairs.
God, yeah.
5 and 6 looks like they've actually blended out a little bit more than they did earlier. Of course, once again, girls are playing the same part of the lane, different equipment, different surfaces. 7 and 8 still looks like a good look to the right. And if you need to ball up or ball down, it's still allowing you to stay in that part of the lane.
Yeah, the lane is actually giving you a definitive part where you can play. Whereas in weeks past, you're still fishing after 2 rounds.
Exactly. She gets a love tap from one of the pins in the gutter. Eight pins for Danielle will lock.
Oh my.
8 pins for Danielle will lock up this game. Great shot by Rocio. Stone 9.
8.
I'm sorry, stone 8. I really do know the numbers of my pins. Danielle will take this 3rd game and go up 2-1 over Shannon O'Keefe. One of the keys you can see, and I hope you can see this while you're watching from home, because it really was awesome to watch while I competed with these ladies, is the patience level.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone looks patient, not rushing anything, bad break, okay, got to regroup, come back. It was patience because of the way the condition was, what the scoring pace was. And that's something else I hope our viewers remember is it really is about the scoring pace. It's not whether you want to bowl good or not, but if the scoring pace is 190-2-0, don't look for 250-260 because it may not be there.
Yeah, and you know, Dell mentioned that too, that he said, you know, certain girls, they're bowling at the U.S. Open, there's 3 rounds, then if you make the cut, you bowl another round, and then if you make the cut, you're making match play. So really, you just want to make that first cut. You have 24 games to do that in. Don't press in the 4th game of the first round. And he said a lot of these girls had to learn, but you needed tournaments in order to experience that. And it's great to see that they've used this tour this summer to find their experience, to learn how to pace themselves with patience. Because you could drive yourself nuts by it. You can't win the tournament the first day. And you're right, the scoring pace is low. Just make your spares.
Kelly definitely did not like that shot. You can kind of see when she comes back, she's analyzing. And I know she had made a remark earlier, you know, I have this much area, then have this much area, then have this much area. Just because it is so touchy.
But it's also very rare to see her struggle all 3 games. You know, she always really tries to eventually find something, and it seems that she's just not comfortable with her look.
So once again, this changes the match a little bit because Rocio wins this game. That match is over and Rocio will make the show. Kelly can strike out in the 9th and 10th for 221. Rocio can strike out for 237, so still close match. Rocio working on a spare, Kelly working on an open. Light hit, leaving the 2-4. It's amazing to watch these girls bowl because you can learn their body language. You know, like anything, like if I watch you bowl, you can see it. And Shannon did not like that shot off her hand.
No.
Once again, missed left. Muscled through it just a little bit. Even when I bowled Team USA with Shannon, you know, she said one of the things, because we've been talking the last few weeks, is that pull down. You know, when she gets just a little ahead of herself and she pulls it down from the back, misses a little bit less left, closes down on it. But that's far and few between because she's just mastered it so well and keeping her swing, her push and her swing just so smooth. I'm not really sure the girls at McKendree University realize how lucky they are to have her as a coach. That's a shout out to her team, but it's just a great, you know, opportunity for her and Brian O'Keefe, obviously, who will be coaching the men. And they're just some lucky ladies to have her on their side.
And we hope that they take full advantage of that.
Another great shot by Rocio on that left lane. Now she leaves the stone 9. Tell you, those 2 shots on that left lane, it changes that whole.
It sure
changes
does.
this whole match. Kelly Kulick getting up in the 9th frame. She can set herself up. She can strike out for 221. Rocio or Restrepo can only strike out for 214.
Kelly needs to get something going right here.
Looked like she threw that one good, just got a little bit further right down lane, but this right lane, this is the lane that everybody has said throughout the day that was tighter down lane. Even as the lanes transition, that lane still remained tight down lane when you got it to the right. Saw that on that shot, because it really off her hand did not look like a bad shot.
I didn't think it was a bad shot at all.
Danielle starting out with a double. Once again, we're back to just pins.
Mm-hmm. I tell all my high school kids and my junior kids, spares win matches. Of course, I'm sure when I walk away, they go, yeah.
Yeah, I know. They're
She doesn't know what she's talking
They're
about.
rolling your eyes. Basically, whatever Kelly does.
Rocio has to do.
Exactly.
Good shot. I would like to see the speed on Shannon's ball if they have the speed on.
Great comeback shot from Shannon. First 2 she didn't really like.
Whoa.
What
That's
great break for Kelly Kulick there. Little high, trips the 4.
I could tell as soon as Shannon let that ball go, she knew it was a little high.
She got around it.
She
You
got
see
around
her?
it a little
Did you-
bit, and she
Mhm.
knew it was going to go a little high, but she tripped the 4 pin. So let's see if she makes a little move. Well, Kelly has now definitely forced Rocio to double. This is a big shot here. Every pin counts.
Great finish by
Yeah.
Kelly Kulick. Can't ask any more than that. Finishes with a 2-11. And right here again, Rocio now needs the first 2 and count. But those 2 shots where she left that stone 8, stone
Cost
9
her this
could,
game
could
possibly.
have possibly cost her this
Yep.
game.
Because she would have had, she should have had a triple
No,
there.
mhm. Yes.
And that changes everything.
Yes. What? Looks like a good shot.
Yep, she got the first one.
Got the first one.
Sometimes the lighter hits are better.
Absolutely.
What do we always say? You don't get any extra points for flair.
20-pin match between Danielle and Shannon O'Keefe. Shannon working on a double. Strikes with in the 3rd and the 4th. Getting up in the 5th on her next shot. Danielle working on a spare in the 4th. Getting up in the 5th. I'm nervous.
I am too.
I know.
Oh, got it right a little bit.
She did. Got it right
She
a
double
little bit.
dribbled a
Yep,
little
she
bit.
did.
But
She
you know,
did.
who knows? Could be, she hasn't done it maybe once or twice before. Could be a little nerves. But you know what? Pressure is a privilege. It'll make her better. It's 2 games to 1.
She really did.
She
pull a
bowled
great-
fantastic.
That was a great game.
It really was.
It was
the
so
game
much
really
more
should have
than
been over.
2-0.
Yeah.
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 So it's a break for
But-
Kelly Kulick.
Right. That's
She
the way
came
it
through in
goes.
the
And
10th.
Kelly did. She
Came through in the 10th. So now the match is Restrepo 2. Hey, I'm calling everybody the wrong names.
9 pin. It's an 8 pin.
Look,
Restrepo.
Hey, I bowled nationals with her. I can call her whatever I want. She told me so. So Rocio is up 2 games to 1. Still lined up. Still making great shots. Kelly changing balls to the ball she used in the last game of her last match, moving a little bit further left. Still basically playing the track area, but definitely moving a little left off of it. Another good shot by Rosie. First
Oh,
reaction
yes.
now.
Nice slap
I'm gonna tell
out.
you, I think she's a little irritated.
I like that. I like that. You know, you and I talked about it today and the other day about today with Steve Winkler at lunch.
Yes.
Show
Yes.
some emotion. We
Yeah,
love that.
I know.
And he said the collegiate shows are great because every ball, everybody's into every shot, and I love that. Well, you and
Mhm.
we react, so we would like that. Kelly switched balls again.
She did in the first frame, went high flush, got around that one a little bit. She's moving this with her hand, move left, and this ball, when she used it earlier, she had to move left with her feet, but she was getting it to the right.
Right, and this ball she's going to have to because it really reacts on the back.
Exactly. Danielle got a break, went a little bit high, left the 4-7.
But now here's a question some viewers are probably wondering.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to figure out the numbers. Because I don't want Chuck yelling at me. It's 20 pins.
Yes, it's exactly 20 pins. Okay,
Danielle is at
Einstein,
20
can I get back to my
Yes,
thought?
go right ahead.
Some viewers may ask, somebody always does, now if Kelly pulled that game out, why would she now switch balls if she finally found a good line?
Because I think she just squeaked by that game. I think Kelly knows she didn't have the reaction she was comfortable with because she did split those couple. Every time she got it left, it split. Every time she got it right, it didn't recover. So,
but whatever she did in the 10th frame.
Yes, but earlier in that other match that she bowled, when she went to this ball, it gave her that little bit of right and that
so
little
she's
bit of
hoping
left.
that she can get that again.
Correct. I think so.
Yeah, now there she moved in. Yeah, and that looked really nice and smooth. So
Shannon up in the 7th frame. Late shaker 7. Still in this match. 21 pin deficit. That's the first time I think Rocio's gone really, really light.
I was just trying to think.
Yeah, she left the 2-4,
Yep.
one shot, 2-8. Danielle just continues to have really good reaction on this pair. She's being really aggressive, really long through her follow through.
And she's maintaining her routine after every shot, doing the same thing over and over.
Another great shot to set herself up in the 9th. Going at a 2:57 pace. Shannon O'Keefe can shoot 2:36.
Oh my God.
Big double for Shannon. Good shot by Kelly, though. Looks like that ball definitely has given her a little bit more. See what Shannon does. I think I saw Danielle's eyes just go up to the scoreboard.
Apparently Shannon's not the only one who's mad that they lost last week.
Yeah.
Watching Danielle bowl.
Well, another great week for Shannon O'Keefe. Awesome comeback from her second place finish last week.
Yes.
She bowled fantastic.
Yes.
She made some great ball changes and, as always, made some great shots. It was a nice year for Shannon O'Keefe. We will see her again on many shows. So it'll be Danielle McEwan will bowl Liz Johnson.
Who?
Oh, that girl. She, you know, the girl that wins
Like
all
Liz,
the majors.
yeah.
Liz, what's her name? Big comeback for Rocio. Danielle just stayed in that area.
Another one who
Used to-
doesn't show much emotion. She keeps everything even keeled, you know.
Right. Let me get the job done, the task at hand.
Yep.
And I'll worry about everything
Yeah, we'll
else
have to work
later.
on her a little bit. We even got Rocio slapping one out here and there.
Danielle strikes out a 257 and she'll win over Shannon O'Keefe. 3-1.
But a good match.
It was an excellent match. Both bowlers bowled fantastic. You know, a couple pins here and there, a couple breaks. Goes either way. We just saw that in the Rocio and Kelly match.
Danielle's mom is here. She's over there. She almost looks like she's getting a little emotional. Very nice lady. Very proud of her daughter.
This match is close, 17 pins here with Rocio and Kelly. Not over yet. Once again, you're going to come down to those final frames.
Well, Kelly's not carrying the 10-pin, but she looks a lot more comfortable with her
A
reaction.
lot more comfortable and a lot more aggressive.
Yes.
Think increased her ball speed a little
Yes.
bit. She's getting a little bit longer with it. Danielle shot 740 for her last 3 games. She had games of 180, 246, 238, 256. Some great bowling. And Shannon, 259 the first game, 190 the second game, but 220, 214 with a couple of other hits. Could have been 220 or 230, but we will see Liz and Danielle bowl their match on Sunday.
And is that the first match? Lucas says yes.
Yes, Liz and Danielle will be the first match on Sunday, 12 p.m. Central Time, CBS Sports Network. Join us, please, on Sunday for the Smithfield PWBA Tournament of Tour Championship Finals.
And then, as always, after the champion is crowned, we can then once again switch over to the Met game.
Correct. I think the magic number is 16.
It was 16, as my mother was telling us this morning.
That's
and as I checked earlier, they were winning.
That was another shout out to Gary Brown, who's a big Met fan here at USBC. Good shots by both girls. That's the first spare I have seen her miss.
All day.
Yes.
Very out of character.
Good comeback shot. Gets the trip 4.
That's the difference I see in her over the last few years. Is maybe she wouldn't have done that a couple of years ago. She would have allowed the 10 pin, especially in a match like this, a lot on the line. But no, she settles down, takes it all in mentally, and comes right back.
Rocio can strike out for 208. Kelly, 237. Big shot for Kelly.
Mm-hmm. Great shot by Rocio.
Not quite mathematically over yet.
No, it's never over.
Exactly. Yeah. But she needs all 3 in the 10th to force Kelly
to mark.
Correct.
See, I didn't fail every math class.
No, you were excellent. You were good at math and you got the mind of a sponge, which is going to help me later in life. Definitely not a good shot by Rocio. She'll finish this with the spare. And I would think maybe try something on her fill ball like we've talked about. Many of the girls have done that. And this match will be tie at 2-2.
I said one of these matches was going to go 5. Players are too good, bowling too well.
With that strike, Rocio will end with a 187. Kelly definitely looking more comfortable. Once again, lane's transitioning. Have to move a little left. She's going to try a ball here on this shot. Kind of like you said earlier. Kelly at times looks lost, and then all of a sudden within 2 games, the lanes just transition enough where it makes her comfortable. She can go back to her A game. Do what she does best. But a lot can happen in 10 frames. With the strike, Kelly will finish out with 237. .235 for Kelly Kulick, 187 for Rocio Restrepo. And we will be on to game 5. Tom Clark sending me a message. Not the PBA Tom Clark. It is a Mets fan thing or a sister thing. It's a Mets fan thing. We've been Mets fans our whole life.
We took a lot of abuse as kids.
Yeah.
For being Mets fans. We're still taking abuse. Well, then now we can back it up a little bit.
Here we are at game 5. I heard Rocio tell Dell he's got it. She definitely has to move in.
Yes.
We've seen Kelly move in. Kelly change balls using the ball that she used earlier today that gave her the better reaction to squeak out that match. Even though lanes against Erin McCarthy got a little squirrely, it gave her the chance to have a few good shots there that closed that match out. Kelly got that one a lot further right than she did in the 10th. Came back light. And it seems when she did that, all the breaks seemed to, they were changing here. Seemed to be going Kelly's way. She just tripped out the 410. Not a bad shot. Went just a little bit high. But you know what? That's what you needed, those
You do.
breaks, just to turn that match right around.
And Rocio tripped the 4-pin.
And moved way,
Yes,
way
she did.
in. I shouldn't
She
say
made a
way
big
in, but made a
move.
big move off of where she was. And once again, she gets a break. Tripping the 4-pin. Oh my God. Just another bad break for Rocio. Good shot.
Really good shot.
Left the 710.
Now see the transition for Kelly. She's carrying the breaks. Transition for Rocio. Little light, she pays big penalty. Whereas 3 games ago, you didn't see that.
So right now we have Liz Johnson on the show bowling Danielle McEwan, both Team USA members. The winner of this match waiting to bowl Stephanie Johnson, who's a Team USA member. So if Kelly wins, it'd be 4 Team USA members on the show. And Rocio Restrepo bowls for Team Columbia. So actually have these bowlers right here with their Team USA or
Yeah,
for their
very
team,
accomplished and experienced.
especially
in
for
their
their
own way.
national,
Yes.
for their country, which tells you once again they all bowl in WTBA patterns, a lot of sport patterns, so very used to what they're bowling on and know how important spare shooting is to the asset of winning.
And like you said before, they know patience because the conditions are grueling. You've got to wait, think it through, and pace yourself.
Kelly light hit, leaves the light 810. You can kind of see by her hand action, she feels like she thumbed that one down a little bit. She's really just trying to stay up the back of it and roll through it a little bit more so the ball doesn't change direction a lot on the back end. Great comeback shot by Kelly Kulick. Very analytical. Kelly's very analytical, always analyzing, always wants to know why it's happening. Rocio changing back to the hypercell skid. Coming up a little bit light. She'll try to hit to the right of the 2-pin. get all three.
Oh, perfect.
That was perfect.
That
What a
was,
great
and that's
shot.
not an easy spare, no
No.
matter what angle.
Close match going into the 5th frame. That actually looked like a really good shot off
I
her
thought
hand.
it was, yeah.
Leaves the 3-6. I would chase it left. Watching how Kelly and them played this pair last match and the match before, and they chased it left. I mean, not saying it was dead easy after they did it, but it definitely seemed to give them a little bit of a better look. I believe that's only the second spare she's missed all day. Rocio taking a few minutes to talk to Del Ballard, Storm Ball rep. Sometimes it's not even about, talking to the reps. And I would go through the list of all of them. Like I said, I did earlier, I thanked the companies, every single one of them, whether you're an accessory company, ball company, shoe company, for sending people out here to help the girls. But sometimes it's really not about telling us what to do. It's just a sounding board.
It is.
Sometimes you just want somebody to listen and go, look, my head's going 100 miles an hour. This is what I'm thinking. This is why I'm not happy. And I don't want an answer from you. I just want you to listen to me. Really, because sometimes...
Don't say anything.
Because sometimes they don't have the answer. And
Right.
you know what? That's okay, too.
It is okay.
But it is hard, trying to relate how you feel with being calm at the moment. I find that extremely tough, as a matter of fact. But it is like him talking with Rocio. I mean, she did mention that she thinks she needed to move further in, but sometimes it's just about listening to me.
Yeah, that looked short the minute she let it go.
Yep. Kelly kind of tells you what's going on. She went like this. It could be her feet got fast. I gotta love her because she's always got an action when she comes back. So it's either her feet
But
got
you're
fast
right.
or
Her
her
mind
hand
is
or
always going
working.
and trying to figure everything out in that split second.
I mean, my mind goes 100 miles an hour.
So does mine.
It does, but it's about different things. It's definitely not.
But
about
at
that.
some point, I just put the brakes on and I go, you know what? I'll think about it.
I got to worry about the
tomorrow."
physical game tomorrow. Exactly.
Sometimes the good Lord just says, you know what? You don't need to know right now. Let it go. That was a great shot, start to finish.
Maybe that'll allow her to build some confidence, make a good shot on this lane, put her right back in this match.
Once again, putting all these experiences together, she's taking her time. She's not rushing up there. She knows what's at stake. That's showing maturity in a lot of these young girls.
Good shot. She made the move left. She was really aggressive with that. Actually, her ball speed seemed to be a little bit more on that left lane, too. But good shot. 2 good shots right there in the 6th and 7th to help her lead up into that 8th, 9th, and 10th. Much better than the beginning of the match. Whoa. You know, Kelly got up to make her shot. And did you?
She did.
Sure
She walked back
she
to
walked
restart.
back to restart.
Was
Little-
something?
No, I just think she took a few extra minutes because it's coming down to the wire. And once again, I think this pair, as we saw in the last matches, gets a little bit funky towards that last game.
Well, yeah, and you notice too on lanes 5 and 6, nobody's stringing 4 or 5 in a row like they did on 7 and 8.
Correct. And once again, we say to the audience, there are certain things you can't say. The topography of each lane is definitely coming into play. Not only that, the way the girls broke them down.
Right.
Rocio down 25 going into the 8th. Kelly up on the left lane going into the 8th frame.
Now she went high the last 2 times on that lane, but she tripped 2 frames ago. Last frame she went high.
Exactly. That one she definitely came around. You could see. Now on
Yes.
this one here, total mishit,
Yes.
bad shot, and common mistake. We then compensate for it
Yep.
on the next shot. You
Yep.
could see her hand action on that. If you were even watch that in slow-mo, she really got around that one.
Oh my God. I didn't see that coming.
No, when she let it go,
It looked like she let it go
didn't-
short.
Yeah,
It-
and I don't know what actually happened. Something happened because she's got Dell over there looking at her hand. So something must have happened.
Yeah.
Or,
I mean, we're sitting at
I-
an angle, but
yeah, I don't know what happened, but she's saying something. I don't know. She can strike out for 207. Big shots for Rocio here in the 8th and 9th frame. Not a bad shot. Came up just a little light, leaves the 2-8. Needs to stay on the spare. A strike here would set her up for 193 max if she strikes. Kelly, if she strikes out in the 9th and 10th, is 207. So once again, 2 big frames.
Now see, those are the hits you need to carry.
Especially late in the game.
Yes. She made a great shot.
And her last shot on this lane was a 4-pin.
Yes.
So right there, that could have been, 2 strikes, which in the 7th would have been a double.
Right. Makes a big difference.
Mhm.
You gotta
Yeah.
carry the breaks.
Well, that just was mental error. She threw good shots, didn't catch the breaks she needed this game. Last game was the game where that stone 8, stone 9
the
really,
last
really
game
cost her.
Yes.
But
It really should have been match over.
but Kelly
last
never
game,
but Kelly never gives up.
Nope.
Put some pressure.
And she made the adjustment in the 10th frame.
Mhm. So we will see in the first match on TV, Liz Johnson against Danielle McEwan. And I believe they're going to be on 7 and 8, correct? Let me see, Liz, and they'll be on 7 and 8. Stephanie Johnson will be bowling Kelly Kulick on 5 and 6. Kelly letting everybody know that I'll be doing the commentating in the booth, and my sidekick, Kate, Goose, Dora, and Lizzie will be doing the sideline reporting.
God. Where's the beer?
Oh, perfect. I
didn't hear anything.
I don't claim them.
That was just some stranger walking by.
This is Carolyn Doran and Kathy Doran Lizzie signing off. So Kelly Kulick finishes with a 196, just grinding back from a deficit of down 2 games early on. Rocio Restrepo bowled a fabulous, fabulous game last game. Did not get the breaks. Kelly comes through in the 10th with a triple to win that game, to take it to a 5th game, and carries it over for 196. Rocio Restrepo, if she strikes out, will shoot 171. Again, I remind everybody, please tune into the finals. The Smithfield PWBA Tour Championship Finals will be live on CBS Sports Network Sunday, 12 p.m. Central Time. Again, this is Carolyn Doran Ballard and Kathy Doran Lizzie. I will be doing the commentating on Sunday. Kathy Doran Lizzie will be doing the sideline reporting. And we look forward to seeing everyone on Sunday at the finals. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to follow us on @PWBA Tour on Twitter, and pwba.com on our website and Facebook.